push for gun control taking center stage at the White House a bit later this morning. You'll see that here live. President Obama, Vice President Joe Biden getting set to meet with police chiefs and sheriffs from major American cities. As former House Speaker Newt Gingrich describes the proposal to ban assault weapons as, quote, propaganda. So do the new gun control laws have a chance of passing? With me now, Republican Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn out of Tennessee. And good morning to you.
Good morning.
Let's just shoot this right down the middle here. Will it happen? An assault weapons ban?
No, it is not going to happen. Here's the reason why it didn't work, and that's why it was not renewed in 2004. You had the FBI, you had law enforcement officers saying, you know, this did not work. And what we know is that since the lifting of that ban, you have seen crime go down. People, many times, Bill, what ends up happening, you get the gun-free zones and you get guns in the hands of criminals, and you're right, there's a lot of evil in this world, but the assault weapons ban is not the way to fix it. Okay,
on the assault, let me come back to fixing that in a moment. What about a background check?
Well,
could that pass?
Well, background checks already are happening. And some people will say, well, there's a gun show loophole. But you know what? Most of your vendors at the gun shows are licensed vendors, and they are already doing those background checks. There is a very small percentage. I think it's about 4 or 5% of the guns that are transferred individual to individual without a background check.
So based on what's been proposed publicly, does any of that pass now in your view?
I don't think that you're going to see
any of this. So it goes nowhere then?
Right.
But with the budget deal and the debt deal and the immigration reform being pushed, does that all crowd out any possibility of gun reform?
I think that what you're hearing from individuals is, look, the assault weapons ban goes after a symptom. Let's focus on root causes. And at the root cause of this, what we're hearing from teachers and coaches and parents, mental illness, mental health. Let's drill down on that. Let's look at the impact of violence. What we want to do is make certain that children are safe, that people in public places are safe, and you don't add to the safety component by just having assault weapons ban.
It may even be, from a political standpoint, easier to understand the following way. Harry Reid pretty much said last week that he did not want to force his members of the Senate, 20 of whom are up for re-election in 2014, into an uncomfortable vote. I'm paraphrasing again. But I thought that was a clear signal that the possibility of seeing a vote on this in Congress was questionable.
I think that you're right. I think that what Harry Reid knows is that there are not the votes in the Senate to bring this forward. He probably wouldn't get the 60 votes that are necessary for cloture. What we know from a public policy perspective is that an assault weapons ban doesn't work. It did not work in the 90s. It was lifted in 2004. We know that the root cause of this is centered more in violence, in mental health, and that is where our focus needs to be.
You run some of the Sunday talk shows. Newt Gingrich was as well.
Yeah.
What did he mean when he said that talk of assault weapons ban is just propaganda?
Yeah, I was on Face the Nation with him yesterday. What I think, and I don't know, but what I would think is that these are things, they're talking about things to try to scare people, and talking about the number of rounds, talking about the limitations on ammunition, and there again, it doesn't get at the heart of the problem. Most of the crimes that are committed with handguns, and it's already illegal to buy a military weapon. If you want to collect or have a Class 3 firearm, then you have to go through extensive background checks, the same as a dealer would have to go through. So there are already laws in place. Let's support and enforce those laws. Deal with the felons that go in and try to buy a gun, but nothing is ever done to them.
And it was last week Senator Feinstein talked about banning more than 150 different semi-automatic weapons, and we'll see whether or not that gives legs. I mean, she said it herself that it's an uphill battle. We'll see whether or not she is right or whether you are right in time. Nice to see you in person.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Marsha Blackburn, thank you, from Tennessee here in New York. All right.